11 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, and I'll tell you what, a lot of people are excited, not just because it's the weekend, but there's a lot of students jumping up and down with joy because commencement taking place already tomorrow at the University of Pittsburgh at Titusville. And we welcome some folks from the University of Pittsburgh at Titusville. Tammy Carr joins us. Good morning, Tammy, and you brought a special guest with you?
Good morning. I did, and I'm very excited to have him with us. This will be our speaker tomorrow, and I'll let him more formally introduce himself. But yes, we could not be more excited to have him. We've had book discussions about him, so he's a mini celebrity here in town already.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been a pretty exciting week. There's been a lot in the news about it, and let's have you introduce yourself.
Well, good morning. This is great to be here with you all. My name is Rais Bhuiyan. I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I was born and raised in Bangladesh. And I work in IT, and I am also the founder and president of a nonprofit. It's called World Without Hate. And I'm very honored to be here and be able to give a speech tomorrow at the university.
That is very exciting. And too bad you weren't here an hour ago, because Mark and I were going to fight, and you could have helped us with that, but we made it through. First of all, I guess talk about what you do in Texas, and then how you get to travel the country and probably the world to discuss this.
Well, this is a very good question. I work for a company called Sabre Corporation as a systems manager, and I had a unique story. I was a victim of 9/11 hate crime. 10 days after 9/11 terrorist attacks, I was shot by a white supremacist in Dallas, Texas, with a double-barrel shotgun at point-blank range. And he also killed 2 other human beings, but I luckily survived. I forgave my attacker, and I tried to save his life. I launched a campaign 10 years after the shooting.
Wow.
And it created international attention. I was trying to commit his sentence from death row to life imprisonment so that he can get a chance to contribute to society in a positive way. And I built this nonprofit called World Without Hate. And I travel all over the world to talk about the transformational power of mercy and forgiveness. We don't need any more war or violence in this world. We need more understanding, more acceptance, and more peace and forgiveness. So that's what I do, travel all over the world and just talk about my story and try to transform the human heart so that we all can live in a peaceful world.
Was that something that you felt immediately, or did time make you come to that decision that you didn't want to see this person die?
Well, to be honest with you, I forgave after I got my life back, but there I had to go through a transformation, through a healing process. And in course of time, I grew mentally, psychologically, physically. And after coming from Mecca, from a Muslim religious pilgrimage, I realized that hate and revenge is not the solution. It only causes more pain and suffering. And the person who shot me in the face and killed 2 others, by killing him, we would lose another human life without dealing with the root cause. And I deeply thought about him, and I realized that he is another human being like me, and he's a victim too. So if he was given a second chance, he might become a better person. And even behind bar, he could contribute to society in a positive way. So it took several years because I had to go through a healing process and come to that understanding that we don't need any more hate and revenge and killing. We need to respect the humanity that we all share, and he deserves a second chance as well.
Have you ever sat down and discussed this with him?
Well,
or does he know that you've been fighting for this?
Yes, to give your answer to your question, I requested the Department of Criminal Justice and also TDCJ. It's called Texas Department of Criminal Justice several times, but my request was turned down again and again. But right before he was executed, I was able to talk to him for 8 seconds on the phone. And when he came to know that one of his victims was running a campaign outside to save his life, he could not believe that, because he was killing Muslims after 9/11 as a revenge of 9/11 terrorist attacks. And now one of his Muslim victims is running a campaign to save his life. He was reduced to tears, and he wrote a long letter to me He apologized, he asked for mercy and forgiveness, and he talked about human rights, justice, and world peace right before he was executed.
Wow. And you said you were also down at the Trade Center area during 9/11?
No, actually, this incident happened in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So this is something that you've been working on over time. At what point did you think, wow, I'm really onto something?
Well,
with the organization,
right. While I was running this campaign to save his life from execution, I was really overwhelmed seeing the support from all over the world. Just name anyone: Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, atheists. People from different walks of life, they came together to save one human life. And it gave me the tremendous amount of power seeing and having all this positive support. And I thought about, I need to keep this running and do something that will bring people like, all the people came forward to save one human life. So I formed this organization, World Without Hate, with the hope that people will be able to take a new narrative and to work for a world based upon mutual respect and dignity, so that we can live without violence, without hate and its terrible ramifications.
Tammy, to have a speaker like this at the university, especially this time when at least in the political season, this has been a big discussion. That's a great find for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And the credit goes to our campus dean, David Fitz.
We don't have to give him credit.
But he had read the book, True American Murder and Mercy in Texas, and he shares that with his class. So they read this and they have the discussion. So this year when we were talking about speakers for commencement, he brought in the book and he said, I don't know if this is going to be possible, but, boy, if we could get him here. And when we did, we were able to, and he started the book discussion in town, and we have the reception that's open in the community on campus today, and of course the commencement address tomorrow, and the community is welcome to attend that too. So we couldn't be more happy or excited.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So do you get to do a lot of traveling then?
Well, I travel almost every other week around the world, and I also work full-time in IT, because I do it for one reason. I had a promise to God that if you give me a chance to live, I promise I would dedicate my life for others, especially for the poor, the needy, and the deprived. And he gave me a second chance to live. So it's now my turn to keep my promise and travel wherever I need to, wherever people invite me to go and share my story, so that we all can live in a peaceful world.
Well, you must have a pretty understanding boss.
Well, my company is very much supportive. It's just very amazing that how a corporate is supporting human rights and peace activists like me. Not only that, my CEO also invited me at our corporate headquarters. Our corporate a big cafeteria, and he launched a 1-hour conversation.
Wow. And
it was broadcast to all over the world, because we have office in 60 different countries.
Really?
And all the employees, they watch this show for live. And also last month, there was a World Travel and Tourism Summit in Dallas, and my CEO invited me to give a talk at that event, where there were people from at least 150 countries. They came to Dallas, Texas for this World Travel and Tourism Summit, and people were really moved, not because it's my story, but seeing the effect of this story, how people were moved, even the person who shot me in the face. So my company is very much supportive, and I travel, I work at the same time, and give a talk.
That's probably the nice thing about technology is
exactly.
It opens up the window for you to do all these wonderful things. 20 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Talk about some of the other places you've traveled. I mean, do you have some favorite locations, some surprising places that you visited?
Well, I don't say no to people. That's my problem as well. Because it's a part of my promise that wherever people invite me to go and give a talk and share my story, definitely there is a reason they ask me.
Yeah.
So why should I no to them? Because it's a promise. So I would say 2 locations, not because of the geographic location, but the story. What I learned from there. For example, I visited a maximum security prison in Genoa, Italy.
Wow.
Even though I don't speak Italian, but I was invited 4 years in a row. And every year after Thanksgiving, I used to go there for 10 days to give a talk from high school to a church to universities. So in 2013, when I went to that maximum security prison, at the middle of my talk, an older inmate started walking towards me. And it's a maximum security prison. I was a little afraid that why this older gentleman is coming towards me. But when he came close to me, I could see his eyes were full of tears. And right away I felt there is something going on in his heart. So when we embraced, he told me that he hurt somebody outside and he will never know whether that person will ever forgive him. But he wanted to touch me because I forgave the person who tried to end my life. And he was crying like a little baby. A 55 or 60 years old inmate was crying like that. So that was one of really touching experience. And after talking to a class of 6th graders in Irvine, California, that little boy, one of the students from that classroom, started his own nonprofit to help the homeless people in LA.
That's fantastic.
Really?
A 6th grader. I mean, what can you expect from a 6th grader? So these are the few stories. It touched me deeply that my story is helping others to share their own stories and also see the possibility of a world without hate where they can also contribute.
So when you got that phone call and they said, we want you to come to Titusville, Pennsylvania, were you like, oh, that's great? Titusville? Honey, where's Titusville?
No, well, I'm good at geography, As soon as I got the call and I told my wife, that yes, we're very excited because, these are the, places we should travel more. Like instead of going to the big cities, rather focus where people may not feel like to go on a tourism or I'm not saying this is a great city. This is a great city, but I always get attracted to go to remote places, small town, because I grew up in a small town as well back home, and people in small town, they're very kind, very friendly, and this is an opportunity for me to travel some part of the world where I will not be able to go for tourism. But this is an opportunity for me to come and connect with people in Titusville. So I was excited to come to Titusville, actually.
And I'm pretty sure when you talk about these small towns and these these tight-knit communities, you're also talking about people who really don't get out much.
Exactly.
So here's a chance, and Tammy, let's talk a little bit about this. Pitt has done such a wonderful job about bringing culture and those outside influences in, so Titusville can get a sample of that. And it's not like you guys offer a lot of these programs just to the students. They're open to the community to come in.
Right. And that's one of our missions. Our cultural series that we've talked about before, yesterday had a meeting, and we're planning next season. So these are the kinds of things that we do like to expose, our students to and the community, just because we don't have the opportunities otherwise. So.
Well, it's fantastic. And you have to be excited. I mean, another year in the books at the university, and a very exciting year. A lot has happened.
We had a great group of students this year.
Yeah,
we really
from start to finish, it's gone fast, but there's been a lot that's taken place, and it's all been so good.
Right, absolutely. This was the year of the humanities, and so the main campus had a grant program that it would basically match the funds. So we were able to bring in many more opportunities this year. Phil Atterbury worked with Benson Library on the jazz program. That was a 3-night event. We had the Enterprise Luncheon with the Titusville Rotary and the Chamber of Commerce. I'm just trying to think. We had a coffee table round table discussion with different groups, and so we were able to do that this year. And next year is going to be the year of diversity, which again is fantastic. And so we're optimistic we can bring more programming in.
Very nice. What's next for you? Where do you go after this?
Well, after this, I'm going to White House.
Really?
I was there last month, and I'm going again this Monday.
When are we leaving?
Well, I was invited last month for a meeting at the White House, and I was able to get a very,
I like how he just threw that in. 20 minutes into the conversation, I'm just going to go to the White House.
Well, the path of mercy, peace, and forgiveness, and opened up a lot of unique opportunity like this, going to the White House, meeting people with from the State Department, from the Justice Department, and many other departments from the federal government and also from the state. And from the White House, I'll be going to give a talk at a Channel 3 Kids event in Middletown, Connecticut. From there, going to Long Island, New York City. From there, I'm going to Houston, Texas for 2 events. Finally, after 2 weeks, I'll be back home, and I'll be working at the same time for my IT job.
Wow. And just in case the bosses are watching right now, you are working.
Yes, they can watch 24/7 because of the IT
That's
stuff.
Right. That's right. And how can folks find your book?
Well, we have a website. It's called worldwithouthate.org. So if you look up this website, on the bottom of the right side, there's a link to that book, and also you can read the first chapter online. And there are a few videos in our website, and we also put all the upcoming events. And there are fantastic blogs on our website as well. I would encourage all the listeners, to visit the website and also give us a like on our Facebook page.
Very nice. It's great to meet you. And
can I throw in one little thing,
Yeah,
too?
absolutely.
Benson Library, Friends of the Library, purchased 20 of his books, and they are available at Benson Library as well.
Wow, very nice. So to read, or can people buy them at the library?
They can borrow them.
They can borrow. Well, now, I borrowed a book about 30 years ago. It's still sitting on my shelf.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll. Thanks, Tim. Thank you. That's a long story. That's fantastic. So you can go to the library, pick it up.
Right.
But better yet, let's buy the book and read it and have that in your collection. Well, what an honor, pleasure meeting you. Best of luck tomorrow. Now, what Tammy was saying, you have a 3-hour speech for tomorrow?
Well, if I tell you honestly that I'm that kind of person who would not go in front of people to give 3 minutes talk when I was in my high school. I'd be feeling nervous. I'll be feeling not comfortable. But now this individual incident, getting shot in the face, it pushed me so hard that fear is gone. Now I feel comfortable. The longest speech I gave, it was 1:45, and I'll be happy to give 3 hours talk tomorrow as well.
That's excellent. And it sounds like you have some wonderful support.
My wife is excellent. She does all the legwork for me, and I'm honored. I'm really happy to have a wife like her. Her name is Jessica Bhuiyan, and she's fantastic.
Very good. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. And Tammy, real quick, tomorrow, what time? And again, talk about when the new school year is going to kick off for you guys.
Well, the reception, we have one today with Rais. He's going to be on campus to meet the community, just cookies, punch, that kind of thing. So we do encourage the community to come down today. That's between 11 and 1 in Boomers. And tomorrow, the commencement ceremony. I think we have 62 graduates tomorrow. And that begins at 2 o'clock, and again, reception after that with Dan and the crew from Met's Culinary over at McKinney Commons. They're going to be throwing a delicious spread. The community's welcome to join us for that. So, yeah, we're excited.
All right, and then the new season kicks off in August?
End of August, yes.
And this is how it goes. Oh, it's nice it's quiet around campus, and then a month into it.
Week, yeah.
And then it's like, hi, we miss the kids.
That's true. That is true.
All right, well, it's great having you guys in this morning, and congratulations and best of luck with everything.
Thank you
a real
very
pleasure.
much. It's great to be here.
All right, and Tammy, we'll be talking to you as we get closer to the new year.
Anytime you want me.
Yeah. Of course, you can keep us up to date with what's going on, too. That's a lot of great things happening at the university. Final look at news is coming up next.